So it's me, LETTERBOXD, and today we are going to go through the best movies of 2018. Last time around we had the worst ones, but this time I will give you a treat of the best ones. And keep in mind that these movies are based on my personal opinions, so no hard feelings here if your beloved movie is not in the list. Without further ado, let's go straight to the list. And coming up in the 10th place, we have Ready Player One. The nostalgic pop culture references, awesome 80s music, and wonderful bright color palette allowed this movie to really take a tight grip of its audience and bring something massively successful to the big screen. The movie itself was gorgeous to look at and to witness by own eyes. The colors were bright and very memorable, to say the least. Oasis looked like an awesome updated version of VR World where everything could be possible. It contained lots and lots of favorite pop culture stuff and details from the games and movies combined. I thought that the story was competent, it wasn't bad, and the characters were developed pretty well throughout the movie. And for the audience who really likes video games in general, this movie could be a very enjoyable journey to the heart of gaming and pop culture itself, mixed with some new and old references throughout the film. Extremely entertaining flick to witness over and over again, but not the best Spielberg we have seen on the big screen. Still very enjoyable movie to sit through. Coming up in the 9th place, we have Searching. I wasn't waiting stars from the sky, but the concept itself seemed to be pretty intense and I wanted it to surprise me positively. Searching was not your ordinary crime thriller, and that was shown from the very beginning of the movie, as the whole story was surrounded by the screens of computers, laptops and smartphones, which was pretty innovative artistic idea to say the least. This movie was an incredibly intriguing and intense experience overall, which was constantly misleading our assumptions further and further from the reality. Because of that, it created more anxiety and stress for us, as we never really knew anything apart from what the father knew about the current situation in the story. It also showcases the downsides of the internet itself, as it shows us how scary a place it could be at the worst case scenario. Because you never know surely who are you talking to on the other side of the typing line behind the anonymity. Searching is one of those movies that you are not really familiar with and you might feel very skeptical about them at first, but when you sit down and watch the story slowly developing to a giant maze of puzzles, you are starting to wonder that how many more movies like this you have missed throughout the years. Definitely give it a go. And the next stop is Mission Impossible Fallout. This movie was one of the most anticipated movies of the summer, and when it came out I was really surprised that it was so well crafted. This movie literally had no chill whatsoever, and it just kept on going as action-packed as our wildest dreams about it. With all that in mind, the story kept throwing twist after twist after twist after twist. Because of what it felt like an insane roller coaster of emotions molded in with an extremely interesting story. So Ethan Hunt had some extremely big stakes on the table on several occasions during his newest journey. Mission Impossible Fallout followed a risky go big or go home approach, and I can happily inform y'all that they did go bigger than we hoped, and they smashed the ball out of the stadium with this installment. It exceeded my expectations by a mile, that's for sure, and because of that I consider this movie as one of the best action movies in recent years, hands down. Coming up in the 7th place, we have 3 Billboards Down Ebbing, Missouri. This movie was an interesting experience to say the least, as I didn't know anything else about it than that it had 3 billboards in it. That wasn't hard to guess by the title itself, to be honest though. This movie was slow, really dramatical, but extremely well portrayed piece which distributed few of the best performances I had seen in recent years, with the likes of Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell, who deservedly got their recognitions during the last awarding season. It also had some racial and political vibes to the close to the ground story itself, which genuinely felt like it would have easily happened in real life somewhere and not so long ago. In overall, the story isn't much, to be honest, but sometimes the simplicity is the best solution to the storytelling, and it worked really well this time around too. 3 Billboards is a roller coaster of feelings type of a movie which keeps you intrigued and engaged to the screen throughout its full stressful duration. And coming up in the 6th place is A Quiet Place. I just love this movie. Not only that it distributed one of the most intensive atmospheres on the screen this year with its remarkable sound editing and innovative concept itself, it also did something refreshing and peculiar in terms of the setting itself. Although the movie doesn't splash much with words, it still succeeds to develop these characters so well that we got to fear for their lives legitimately throughout the movie. Not only that, but the chemistry between the actors and actresses had just unbelievably high standards, to say the least. This movie hits you hard and feels really genuine at the same time. Although it is surrounded by a surreal, utopistic setting, an incredible piece to experience over and over again. And the 5th place we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. To be quite honest, I wasn't really sure about the competence of this movie back in the day when the first trailer dropped, but I already then saw something mild potential lurking under its sleeves, just begging to be released, and when it finally did, I was speechless. I didn't expect this much of a visually innovative experimenting, nor the structural perfection that it maintained extremely well from the beginning till the very end. This movie was an exceptional animated piece to witness in action. Not only that it changed the game for the animated movies, it also changed the game massively for superhero movies in general, with its incredibly imaginative storytelling and the use of marvelous comic book like animation style. Not only that it sets the unforeseen and completely fresh artistical aspects to the screen, but it also understands how to create and develop its characters properly while not getting lost in the process. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a groundbreaking piece of animation which merges the breathtaking visuals to the incredibly entertaining and competent storyline, which not only makes you feel something during its runtime, but also keeps surprising constantly with the variety of its excellent storytelling and its extremely wide visual capabilities. Marvelous. Coming up on the 4th place we have First Man. So as a massive fan of an extraordinary Damien Chazelle, I really hope that this movie would be as remotely pleasing and solid as his earlier 2 masterpieces, La La Land and Whiplash. This movie didn't concentrate on the side points of the plot too much, which was a great choice by the director himself, as we could concentrate on the main points of the movie only, which were Neil Armstrong's journey to the moon and back and the emotional stress that it created to his family and Houston control panel throughout that particular space program. I was extremely surprised on how well the atmosphere was crafted in their entirety in this movie and how well and smooth the tone shifts were. In order to create pressure on the audiences, they really invested their time in making the right emotional choices from the story's point of view to get the strong tie to them that way. I was blown away about the fact that it was so atmospheric as it was, and it worked brilliantly. The performances were really good, and I'm actually pretty excited to see if Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy will receive some nominations or awards for their remarkable performances. They really deserve some recognition for that, only in my opinion, if not for the movie in entirety. Another hit for the outstanding Damien Chazelle. And coming up in the third place we have Coco. To be honest with you, I was kinda iffy about Coco when I first saw the trailer back in the day. Even though it looked very interesting by its concept, it didn't really trigger me too much in any particular way at that time. Then I finally gave it a go, and my lord, how ridiculously extraordinary movie this was in entirety. Not only that the main characters were constructed really well, the story itself feels like an experimentally innovative journey, which not only entertains you in all the way possible, but makes you really feel for the characters and the events during this movie. The fantastic music score and ridiculously beautiful visual aspects makes the overall experience even more lovable. One of the best Pixar movies for sure. Coming up in the runner's place, it is Aroma. I knew that this movie would be an instant technical masterpiece, but I wasn't prepared for its extremely emotional storyline in advance. This movie was very slow paced, which in my opinion worked extremely well for this kind of a story. The story itself wasn't that complicated from the concept itself, as it was ultimately surrounded around this high-class family's personal maid, Cleo, and her unfortunate misfortunes. The movie showed a year of her life, highlighting the most influential and mostly saddest moments in the most devastating ways I have witnessed drama in a movie in a long time. Roma was shot breathtakingly well from the very first shot to the last, while literally showing us the most compelling camera angles and calmest movements I have seen in a movie all this year. I will not tell you anything else of it because it needs to be witnessed by your own two eyes without any expectations at all. I'll give you a valuable hint. Watch this movie with a clear mind and let it take you away with its hypnotizing, character-driven storyline and wiggle you a bit emotionally. Before we go to my best movie of 2018, here are some honorable mentions. And the best movie of 2018 had to be Suspiria. The most fascinating part of this particular pick is that I didn't really like Dario Argento's original version that much. Then how the hell this remake found its way to the very top of this list, I hear you ask? Let me explain. Luca Guadagnino did something remarkable with this property, and he did exactly what every other director should do while remaking classic movies. They should not remake the movie shot to shot while working only on a fuel of pure nostalgia, but they should tell the story in reimagined form while still keeping the main themes and mythology of the story unchanged. That was the main thing that made this movie so special and remarkable in my opinion. Not only that the atmosphere was extremely menacing and overwhelming, the story itself seemed to have an intelligent storytelling technique to keep its audiences on the verge of their seats thinking and analyzing all the little details and subtle hints during the movie. Not only that, the muted down color palette seemed to feel like a more realistic and dramatical artistic choice for the movie, but the great sense of intensity was literally shown throughout the movie while using these incredible visual aspects and amazingly masterful music score by Thom Yorke and its disturbing nature to progress the story to its unexpected turnout. Guadagnino's Suspiria was a masterful work of passion, which delivered the disturbing essence of the story's mythology very well to the screen. I felt really contradictory about it because it felt so overwhelming at first when I left the theater, but after a careful analyzing process in my head, I felt more and more in love with the movie itself and its essential themes, which you can't really truly witness so much these days anymore. And here was my list for the best movies of 2018. Let me know your list in the comments down below. I would love to see them and discuss about them. There is 2 more listing videos of 2018 coming up in the coming days. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you very soon. Cheers!